Dick versus Michael John Wolf.
Today's arraignment was short and procedural. Michael Wolf appeared via video and said nothing. He hasn't even entered a plea yet. His alleged crime has shaken the community. People who didn't know Carissa or Billy Fretwell are following the story of their deaths. This man felt compelled to come to court today.
Because I'm a father, and my feelings are hurt, you know. I'm hurt and then I'm mad.
Carissa and Billy went missing in early May. Investigators zeroed in on Wolf. He was Billy's biological father and had recently been ordered to pay Carissa $900 a month in child support. They searched his property, a property he worked at, and eventually a rural wooded area just west of the city of Yamhill. That's where they found the bodies. Court documents show Wolf had fished there before. Today, the DA talked to a big crowd of reporters minutes after meeting with Carissa and Billy's family.
Well, as you might guess, this is a tough time. We've had a lot of meeting between investigators and my victim advocates. We've met with the family several times now, especially after the bodies were found, to share with them the findings that were made. We continue to try to answer their questions. There are a lot of questions that are still unanswered.
Questions like, what exactly happened to Billy? Investigators said Carissa died from a gunshot wound to the head. They haven't confirmed her son's cause of death. The DA saying again tonight they're still waiting on test results. Carissa's family and Wolf's family have both asked for privacy through this entire ordeal. Wolf is due back in court on July 10th. If convicted, he faces the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison. He also theoretically could face the death penalty, though the DA hasn't decided if he'll pursue that. And then also we should note there is currently a moratorium on capital punishment in the state of Oregon. Reporting in McMinnville, I'm Maggie Vespa, KGW News.